hello there, and we are live. See, ladies and gentlemen, see, this is a legendary one we have here today, guys, because the guy who's the special guest of this show today, I'm sorry he came a little bit late, there's been some technical issues. So, but see, when you're dealing with legends, you just have to take anything, that that you get, yeah. See, it's Real Talk episode 2, season 2. Many legends have come down here to this place. Many of them have come. Many of them have choked. Many of them have felt the hotness of this red hot seat down here, yeah, of this talk show. MCFC Daps has been here. Big Steve has been here. So it is only justice, yeah, that this guy from Arsenal's True Gunners TV channel on YouTube. This legend, this brother I've always wanted to work with. Yeah. Brandon Cox in the house, live in the flesh. My brother, you're welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Tony. Thank you for the intro, by the way. Like, I'm shocked. I'm shocked and pleased at the same time that you boys are so. Like, I don't know about legend. But I'm pleased that you boys enjoy the content. I'm pleased you boys enjoy listening to what I've got to say and that. And that's the idea. That's the plan. YouTube and all that. So yeah, thank you guys for inviting me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and sure, of course, I have my own friend, my personal friend. Yeah, this guy on Bayat TV. Me and him, we vibe a lot on Instagram, and he loves Arsenal to the pop. Yeah, this guy Joshua from on Bayat TV on Instagram. My brother, man, you're welcome to the show, man.
Honestly, thank you for the invite, and I really appreciate it, honestly. And listen, honestly, up the Arsenal, and I do hope we can actually win the league. It honestly, personally, it will be my first time.
I agree with you on that one.
Honestly,
Tone it down a bit. Tone it down a bit. Yeah, guys, if you're in the chat,
it'll be my first time. Being
Brandon
with it.
from True Gunners TV. Yeah, I have Brandon from True Gunners TV to dream to actually have this guy here. See, Brandon, straight up to the hot seat. Yeah, Brandon, Aaron Ramsdale. You've seen the news. You've seen, what's making up the rounds out there. Yeah, Aaron Ramsdale for me has come under serious scrutiny. Yeah, at least from last season. Yeah, gaffes after gaffes after gaffes. The gaff at Liverpool, the gaff at Sporting Lisbon that cost us the Europa League. That horrible gaff at Southampton. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
coming into this into the summer. Yeah, in our preseason game, I haven't really seen any improvement from Aaron Ramsdale. I'm this kind of guy. When a player is doing quite well, I give him his praises. When a player leaves something to be desired, leaves a space for criticism, I'm always that guy to go in there. I'm never afraid to chime into those criticism, fair criticism, constructive criticism. See, in your own books, what do you think about Aaron Ramsdale? But at the tail end of last season, this preseason, and what do you have to tell us about what's making up the rounds? I'm talking of the article online right now.
Yeah, so Ramsdale is an interesting one because last season, and since he's really came into the club, to be fair, he's arguably been one of our better players, no doubt. There has been a few mistakes creeping into his game. Yeah. The one that worries me the most is conceding shots that he should be saving. And, the Man United game in pre-season, that highlighted that fact. He should have saved that shot that went in for the first goal. But, I mean, Arteta's ruthless. I didn't realise that Arteta was this ruthless. But going into the summer transfer window, the last position that I'd expect Arsenal to be trying to kind of fill is goalkeeper. And it looks like with us potentially bringing in David Raya, he's not just bringing in a goalkeeper that can play second fiddle to Aaron Ramsdale, but he's bringing in a guy that can actually provide him competition and is a very, very good goalkeeper himself. And I don't mind that. Do you know what I mean? I like that. If you look at Manchester City, who we're trying to, compete with, they've got Ederson, who's arguably one of the best goalkeepers in world football. And then they've got Ortega. Now, Ortega's he's not as good as Ederson, but in terms of his like distribution, he's elite level.
Is top notch.
It's top notch. And the thing is I look at the goalkeeper's position. It is so important for Arsenal this season, because if you're gonna we'll be a team that will have the majority of the possession in the majority of games, right? But there will be games this season against Manchester City in the league, against the teams like Real Madrid, maybe PSG or whoever we might meet in the latter stages of the Champions League if we get there, hopefully. But there will be teams this season that will have more of the possession than Arsenal. Now, if you've got a good goalkeeper, especially in the department of in the transitions and being able to use his feet really well, like David Raya can, then you can transition really quickly from defence to attack. Imagine like Manchester City, for example. They'll have more possession than us. They're just a better team than us right now, right? So they will have more possession than us during the game. The best way to beat Manchester City, if you're Arsenal right now, is to have a very good goalkeeper like David Raya, who's really good and excels in his distribution factor. And then you can ping balls out wide, and you can isolate the likes of Martinelli and Saka 1v1 with City's players.
1v1.
Exactly. But when we're trying to do this,
let him finish his point. Let him finish his point. We'll get to you.
Sorry. Go on, bro. Go on.
When we're trying to do this like ticky-tacky football, let's bring Zinchenko into the middle type thing, it works against the majority of teams. But Manchester City, it didn't work against them last season. Pep Guardiola knows this system like the back of his hand. Yeah, so he knows how to defend against this system, and we see that in the Man City game. They absolutely nullified us. So Arteta has got to find a different way of beating Manchester City. And if you go back to the FA Cup when he first came in, and of course we beat Manchester City on the way to winning the FA Cup. Yeah. The way that we beat Man City was we had our goalkeeper playing long balls out wide to Saka and Martinelli, and we isolated them 1v1. And that's how we created our chances. So, it's only good for Arsenal. It's going to make Arsenal better having two quality goalkeepers.
Joshua, I'll let you. I know you wanted to say something when Brandon was talking, but I'll give you that opportunity. Counter him in whatever he said. What do you think on Ramsdale, his mistakes? Do you really see him as that goalie that should be there getting into next season? Or do you think Raya, with his extreme knack for distribution of the ball, leading from the back, and also a good penalty goalkeeper? Mind you, don't be fooled by yesterday, what happened at the Emirates Cup. Aaron Ramsdale is not, let's get this correctly, book guys in the chart, Aaron Ramsdale is not a penalty professional. I can't bet my money on a cup game final bringing Aaron Ramsdale in to catch a few penalty shots. I can't put my money where my mouth is. Do you put your money where your mouth is, Joshua, when it comes to Aaron Ramsdale next season?
I think, listen, Ramsdale is good at a lot of things. He's a good shot stopper, but listen, I feel like, again, obviously he makes many mistakes. I think bringing David Raya in would give him a kick up the arse. Like, you know what? I need to improve my game. I need to actually stop shitting around. Otherwise, David Raya can take my place. I'm going to be dropped to the bench, and Raya is going to be literally. Yeah, it's you know what? I feel like we should actually sign him because I feel like that's the only way Ramsdale can actually improve and get better. And me as an Arsenal fan, I want to see competition in the team, right? You know, Saka and whoever, Trossard and Martinelli, Jesus and Nketiah, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Partey, Rice, Timber and Zinchenko, Gabriel. Listen, I want to see competition. That's the only way we're going to get better. And also this is one of the biggest reasons why Man City have been successful over the past 3, 4, 5, 6 years is because they've got competition. You know, Foden, Grealish, Mahrez, Haaland, Alvarez, De Bruyne, Rodri, Calvin Phillips, Kyle Walker, Cancelo. Literally a lot of big game players that can step up and keep level. Arsenal don't have that just yet. Obviously, yes, we brought in Declan Rice or whatever, but I feel like I feel like I feel like to compete with Man City or to be better than Man City, we need more. We need more. We need more.
We
We need
need
a
more.
striker,
We need
especially.
more. We
Yeah,
definitely need more,
a
but
striker, bro.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Yeah.
It's just mad.
See, we got all night.
It's not just the
Uh,
goalkeeper.
uh, uh, Brandon, I'll come back. I'll come back to you. Yeah, just like money in the chart. Yeah, Arsenal since 1987. Big ups to you is here. Danny says, "Wagwan Admirals." TJ Warren, guys, I'll be at the American Idiot Show tomorrow with TJ Warren. Yeah, he says it's time to win. Period. Manitan Gadarai, that's a big brother to us down here. He says things goes in circles. Ramsdale comes and ended up replacing Leno, Raya to replace Ramsdale. See, typically I would ask you if you kind of like resonate with what Manitan Gadright just said there. But let's look at some certain facts. Aaron Ramsdale as a goalkeeper, yeah, his direct mistakes last season has led to goals at least 20% of the time last season. Yeah. Apart from that, his crossfield distribution hasn't really been right. His distribution, right from the first season he came, he was trying to really play out from the back. You could see him do that. He wasn't really a professional doing, kind of like orchestrating those clear cut distribution qualities that we wanted from a goalkeeper that does that typically. But you could see him trying to adapt over time, yeah, while doing that in the first season. And then in his second season, yeah, he kind of like, capitulated on that and capitalized on that. And for some reason, he just forgot how to the basic principles of goalkeeping. He couldn't just, really arrange his defenders. He couldn't just be that extra guy out there in our defensive structure to just shout out and back out orders on how to actually arrange your defense. If you see the goal Rafinha scored in the preseason game, he had Trossard lead the defensive block for that, and he couldn't even arrange this guy the way the ball just went in, just pure undesirable. Yeah. Do you think that with how Ramsdale is playing right now, do you think he can get back to his mojo? Do you think he still has that in him, or do you think if Raya comes in with the way we're seeing, think if Raya comes in, literally, he might just come there and gazon that position from Aaron Ramsdale? What do you think, Brandon?
I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. I think if you take Aaron Ramsdale for an example, right, I think the reason why he excelled so much in his first season was because this guy tends to thrive under pressure. If you remember when he first came to Arsenal, nobody wanted him. Not a single Arsenal fan sat there and said, I want Aaron Ramsdale to be our new goalkeeper, right?
Me too.
So he come in with massive pressure on his shoulders straight away because the fan base was on his neck. Any mistakes that he'd make, everybody would sit there and say, told you so, this is a dud signing. I don't know why we've even bothered, blah, blah, blah. He's been relegated for God knows how many seasons. Why are we going in and signing Aaron Ramsdale? But in that first season for Arsenal, he came in with the attitude of, I ain't here to sit on the bench. I'm here to take that shirt off Leno's back. And he did that within, the space of a couple of games. And rightly so, he earned his place in this team. Now, in that first season, like I say, that was where I think we see the best of Aaron Ramsdale, because he had pressure on his shoulders. He knew he had to perform. He knew he was coming into a big club. Now, I don't think it's as cut and dry as we go and get David Raya and all of a sudden Aaron Ramsdale's doing a bench. I don't think that's the case. I think Arteta has probably noticed the same sort of thing as what I'm saying here, which is Aaron Ramsdale needs sufficient competition in order to get the best out of him. He needs that added pressure on his shoulders to get the best out of him. This is a guy that thrives under pressure. This is a guy that wants to be under pressure. And let's be completely honest here. Tina Turner, Matt Turner, Tina Turner, whatever you want to call him, was never ever brought in to be Arsenal's number one. They'll say he was brought in to compete with Aaron Ramsdale for the number one spot. That guy was never, ever, ever in a million trillion years going to be good enough to play first choice goalkeeper for Arsenal. That signing there was a PR exercise. That signing there was a money-making scheme for Arsenal. You're trying to break into the American
market.
Structure. Yeah, you go out, you buy this guy cheap, you sell him on for a profit. And that's what Arsenal have done.
Same thing with Trusty. Trusty brought in, for that American PR, and being sold out without even playing one competitive game for Arsenal in the league. It's shocking, yeah, and we just threw that away just for a few crumbs. But see, Brandon, I'll still clip you on this one, yeah. Aaron Ramsdale were brought in for big money. Yeah, he came to this football club for big money, considering that he has relegated his teams that he has played for. Say, bringing in Rare, yeah, for maybe close to that amount of money. Let's say Rare will cost us at worst £30 million. Another goal that expensive as the one we already have.
Say that again, mate. You kind of broke up a little bit there.
I'm just saying that. Does it make sense to bring in Raya, who costs almost as much as Aaron Ramsdale? Does it make perfect sense, or should we be saving up that money to go get a striker?
Well, this is the interesting thing. See, like I said at the beginning of the window, a goalkeeper was not on the priority list. No way. Like, you can go through the season and the chances of your goalkeeper picking up an injury or a suspension or anything like that that's going to keep him out long term is very, very, very slim. So 9 times out of 10, teams go through an entire season playing Champions League, whatever, you name it, with their first choice goalkeeper. It's very rare for you goalkeeper to ever have to miss a period of the season. So goalkeeper was never on my priority list. I still, to this day, even before Gabriel Jesus got injured, say that Arsenal need a striker. We need a goal-scoring striker. And without one, we simply cannot win this league. It's as simple as that. And I will put my house on it that if Arsenal do not get a striker, we will not win the league this season. Because thing about Manchester City is they've got Haaland, right?
Yeah, sure.
Haaland guarantees them 30 goals a season minimum straight away. Yeah, before he's even kicked the ball, Erling Haaland is going to guarantee Manchester City 30 goals.
Yeah.
By the time the rest of their players have chipped in, like your Grealishes, your Fodens, your De Bruynes, whoever it may be, Bernardo Silva, they're going to come up with roughly between 8 and 10 goals, maybe even more than that, each per season as well. So in order to win the league, it's not just about conceding less. You got to score goals as well. You got like Arsenal drew a fair few games last season. You got to turn them draws into wins. You go back to the Newcastle game for an example. We drew that game 0-0. Newcastle defended really, really well in that game. If we'd have turned that game into that 0-0 draw into a 1-0 win, for an example, with a proper striker, a goal-scoring striker, for example, that and a few of the other draws could have been the difference between us actually going on and winning the league, even those we capitulated towards the end, or not winning the league. And that's the difference between Manchester City. If you take Haaland's goals away from Manchester City last season, they wouldn't have won the league. They wouldn't have even finished second. They would have finished third.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Whoa! Wow! Wow!
This is genuine speaking.
That's a big statement, man. That's a big statement.
No. This is genuine speaking. I've done my research on it. I've done my research on the statistics and the goals scored from each individual club, and where Haaland kind of had the effect in terms of getting the City the points the most. Would they have won, lost, drew them games? And genuinely, honest to God speaking, anybody can go and check these statistics out, right? And look for themselves. Manchester United would have finished in front of Manchester City last season if they hadn't had Haaland. If they hadn't had Haaland.
What? Are you mad? Bro, Man United.
Yeah, and I won the
league. Joshua, please, we don't use those type of words here on my channel, man. I'm sorry, man. And of course, this is the legend you're talking to, bro. See, Joshua, see, I'll put you in the game, yeah, since you want to talk about strikers right now. See, Arsenal have a striker right now, that an Inter Milan is evaluating, and I value this guy at about 30-something million pounds. Yeah, that's how they value this guy. And this guy is Balogun. Arsenal have that in the locker room right now. If you were Mikel Arteta, what are you going to be saying right now to Balogun?
I want to keep him and play him and actually give him a chance instead of saying him. In KR, I'd sell him to Palace or whoever wants to get him. I'll sell him straight away. Bye bye. See you, mate. And also,
that's not happening. Gabriel Jesus just got injured. Arsenal team members are tweeting away because Eddie Nketiah scored a goal yesterday. They're tweeting away. I mean, the players are tweeting away right now. Calling him legend and stuff. So when you saying Eddie Nketiah should be leaving the football club, you better think again. It's not going to happen. Mikel Arteta literally likes this guy. I don't know what this guy has on the hierarchy of Arsenal, but Eddie Nketiah is here to stay. Let's get that correctly. But what do you want to say?
Honestly, we need a big boy striker, isn't it? Right, so Manchester City got Haaland. Tottenham, yes, they're shit, but bruv, they got one of the baddest strikers in Premier League history, bruv. Harry Kane, bro, honestly, listen, yes, he's Tottenham, but I will do anything to get a striker like Harry Kane in my football club. What? Harry Kane will get us 30, 40 goals every season. This guy is clinical as hell. Yeah? So you got Haaland, you got Kane, what's it called? Man United, maybe Hoyland, maybe. Maybe.
Man, all the strikers you naming, man, none of them are gonna come to Arsenal. Yeah, Hoyland signed for Manchester United. Harry Kane, his wife is already house hunting and house shopping. In Munich.
That's the striker that we need.
We do need a potent striker. See, Brandon, I'll bring you in here right now. Yeah, we have a striker crisis. It doesn't matter what any other person is saying. Eddie Nketiah scored yesterday in that Emirates Cup. We're going to go into that game after this. But see, I'm not deceived. I like to believe you're one of those that are not deceived by that goal yesterday. I give him the props where I should give those props to. He scored a great goal yesterday, but so was the delivery yesterday from Gabi. Great delivery from that corner kick. We'll go into that later on. But see, I'm not buying this Eddie Nketiah thing that just started yesterday with some Arsenal faithful saying, you know what, we got Eddie to answer the calls. Do you think Eddie can answer the calls when it comes game day on a Saturday night in in Liverpool, where we have to go down to cold night at Manchester Etihad Stadium. Do you think Eddie Nketiah is that kind of striker who will take to those extreme heights and he will go there and score some goals? Brother, who are you looking into bringing? Because we need a striker right now who would start up the league for us.
It's an interesting question, because I look at the strikers market, and my man just named Harry Kane. Like, that would be the dream signing for me.
The
But
dream signing.
Tell me about it.
we all know that Tottenham are not selling Harry Kane to Arsenal. Simple as. They're not selling Harry Kane to Arsenal. No, they won't sell any of their players to Arsenal. No way. Victor Osimhen is another one, right?
Yeah. Joshua just named him in the private charts. Yeah.
A hell of a lot of money to get that deal done. I don't see Arsenal spending that sort of money after we just outlaid 200 million on Rice, Havertz, and Timber, right?
Why?
Now, apart from them two players there, you got Ivan Toney, but the issue with Ivan Toney is he's banned till January. So how much does Ivan Toney help us now? Not really. You know what I mean? It doesn't help us now, and we need a striker now that Jesus is out. Apart from that, if you look at the strikers market, there isn't really a striker that stands out to me that, like, go and get him. And this is the issue that we're having, I think, because if there was a striker out there that really stood out as, like, go get him, then it would make sense for Arsenal to go out and get them. But if you look at Manchester United, for example, they've just paid £72 million for a reasonably unproven 20-year-old striker. Now,
from Atalanta.
Yeah, and if you're going to go out and buy somebody,
32 games, Hoyland.
Exactly. If you're going to go out and spend that sort of money on somebody, you want them to come in and make a proper impact on the team. I don't see a striker out there right now that can do that. Now, the closest thing to that is Balogun, right? Because Balogun had a very good season out in the French league last season, scored 20-odd goals. Yeah. He's done more, although it's the French league. People will always argue, it's the French league, right? But he's done more over in the French league than what Eddie Nketiah has at Arsenal, Leeds, and everywhere else that he's gone to, right? So, and not only that, if you look at his goals last season as well, he scores all different types of goals. He's not a one-dimensional player like Eddie Nketiah. He's not, a fox in the box like Eddie Nketiah. He can do the whole Jesus thing, and he can score in and around the box, inside the box. He can score headers. He can do this. He can do that. Right? So he's more of an all-round striker than what Eddie Nketiah is. Now, for me, I'd keep Balogun because there isn't like I said, there's not a striker out there that really stands out. That let's go get him.
Stands out.
But if we are going to move Balogun on, and we're going to get a decent fee for him, right? Then I would be moving Eddie Nketiah on as well, even though there's not another striker out there. And I would use that money to go and get us a decent and a very good right winger. Because I think if you go out and address the right wing position, not only does that provide competition for Saka as well, but it also means that it frees up Trossard a little bit as well. So Trossard can come in and play that false nine role that Jesus does. Yeah. Then you've got backup for your left-hand side and your right-hand side. And you've still got Gabriel Jesus to come back from his injury. So for me, I'd sell both Balogun and Eddie. If you're going to sell Balogun, sell Eddie as well. You might as well. Use that money to go out and get a right-sided forward that can compete with Bukayo Saka. That will make us stronger than keeping Eddie Nketiah. But my big worry, guys, is, as you said, Mikel Arteta is a massive fan of Eddie Nketiah. And I can see it starting this season with Eddie Nketiah up front. And if that is the case, we will not win the Premier League this season. It's as simple as that. Because last season, from our first 19 games, we took 50 out of 59 points. That was almost perfect, and we still didn't win the league. So it just goes to show how much of an almost perfect season you've got to have to beat Manchester City to the league title. And Eddie Nketiah is not clinical in any way. He doesn't have any sort of attributes that really stand out as saying, yes, he could
At
be the
all, no
guy to do
skills,
it.
nothing. Can't
Nothing.
dribble, can't move the ball. His IQ is a little bit. See, man, I like the guy. I like the brother. Yeah, see, he's a cool kid. I like him. And all that stuff. Yeah, I like the kid. But I'm sorry, man, he's not Arsenal level. See, there's levels to this. Yeah, and with what Erling Haaland came to this league last year and showed everyone, see, there's levels to this thing we're talking about. But you know what? Yeah, Joshua, see, let me put you in the game also. Yeah, um, apart
Yeah,
from
go on.
Ivan Tony, who we know we can't get right now, even if we do get him, it's still January that he can have any sort of impact for us. Yeah, at least competitively in the Premiership. So, which other strikers do you think Arsenal should go right now that's affordable? I'm not talking of astronomical fees like the one of Victor Osimhen, because Victor Osimhen, trust me, now that Gabriel Jesus is injured, those guys down there, they will tell you his fee up to close to 250, because we have the Saudi Arabians who are throwing that money everywhere. They could buy a player for 1 million,
Yeah.
for 1 million. That's for fees. So, but scratch that anyway. Which strikers do you think Arsenal can go into the market right now and say, you know what, yeah, I like for like replacement for Gabriel Jesus. He'll get us some goals. Which one, Joshua?
At first, I was gonna say Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I was like, nah, the guy's injury prone, so scratch that off. But then I thought of Tammy Abraham. He's tall. He's got decent hold up play. He's got a turn in him. He's got decent finishing. He's got a bit of pace. I mean, Brandon, what do you think? Tammy to Arsenal to replace Jesus? You in or you?
I'm not. I'm not totally against Tammy Abraham by any means. I think you're right. I think you're going down the right route. I definitely think we need a striker that's tall, that offers us something different to Jesus. The only thing that I look at Tammy Abraham is he really clinical? And that's what I think we're missing. We're missing a striker that is clinical in front of goal. I don't think Tammy Abraham's that guy. Ivan Tony, a little bit different because he showed last season that he is clinical when he gets chances. But Tammy Abraham has all the attributes that you'd be looking for in a striker, no doubt. All the attributes, but he's just not clinical enough in front of goal, mate. That's what I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah. He can't get you 30
Well,
goals.
how about
Because right now we're going for the league. We need to win the league. That's one thing people don't really understand. Yeah, we're up to nearly 700 million pounds spent. We need to win the league. Yeah, just 300 million. Yeah, shy of 1 billion pounds this manager has spent. I'm sorry, the goods has to come. We need to start winning trophies, and we don't need to just be winning the Emirates Cup. No, no, no. We didn't spend money because I've seen some Arsenal fans. Yeah, of course, it's good to be joyous when your team win, but I'm sorry, I'm not here for the Emirates Cup. I'm here for the big time. I'm here for the big cups. And of course, when you spend 700 million pounds in your whole stay at Arsenal talking to Mikel Arteta, I'm sorry, you have to deliver the goods. The goods have to be on the table. And I'm talking of the league title. See, Brandon, I want to win the league title this coming season. I want to win the Carabao Cup, yeah? That cup we call the Mickey Mouse Cup. I need that cup. How about that? I need the FA Cup. We're always used to winning the FA Cup. I need that this season. So, see, man, we can't achieve all these things without a potent striker. I can understand if we're waiting for January for us to gas up that deal for Ivan Tony, but we need right now, and that's the problem. We're always having. We need something right now, not later, not 3 months time, not 4 months. We need something now that we could use to galvanize this team and hit the ground running from the start. But see, no one has actually given me a name. Brandon, I'm surprised you've not really given me. I need a clear cut name. I need a striker, a deadly striker. You would
what
say,
about
right?
what about Lukaku? Lukaku from Inter, or is it
I,
Chelsea?
Are you dreaming, man? Lukaku?
I'm being,
No.
bro. I'm being serious, man. Bro, listen, yeah. Man's massive. He's tall. He's hench. Come on, like we need
Brandon,
something different
Lukaku,
to this
Brandon.
tiki taka, man.
Brandon is
I'm
laughing
dead.
at him.
Oh, Brandon lied, bro. Brandon lied,
No,
bro.
I'm not
I
gonna
love
laugh,
you.
no.
man.
You,
No, Brandon.
the thing is with Lukaku as well, right? Is he's got the attributes to do it. He's got the attribute, and he can be clinical in front of goal, Lukaku. The only thing is, I don't know how Lukaku would work in our system, and he's got the touch of a donkey, mate. Like this
Oh,
guy's wearing Timberlands all day
oh
long.
my
So it's
God!
like,
That Champions League miss. Oh,
and this is the thing: we need a striker that can do everything that Jesus can do, because Jesus, mate, regardless of whether he scores enough goals in front of goal or not, having Jesus in the team makes us better because he brings other players into the game and allows them to
Yeah,
flourish and do their thing, right? So you need a striker that can do that hold up, link up, bring other players into play, do all of that, but also be clinical in the box. And this is why I say Harry Kane is my dream. Because if we could just say, for argument's sake, we get Harry Kane, I'm telling you now, we would win the league at a canter with Harry Kane up
I,
front.
I'll tell
Because
please.
but seriously, are we being shameless about this? Yeah, Harry Kane is a legend. Yeah, in coming from our bitter rivals. Are we this
So
shameless to?
yes, oh
Are we
yeah,
this
bro,
yes,
shameless to
yes.
get Harry
I
Kane
am.
down
You,
here?
I am 100%. Of course, I'm a
yes,
Seamus. Of course, I'm a
So, Joshua,
Seamus.
you'll take on Harry Kane into your team
Yes,
right
I'll
now.
take. Yes,
A player you've
all
marked
day.
yes.
for
I'll
this
take
long
him
as
right
well.
now. I'll take him right now, bro. Yeah, I'll take him right, bro. Listen, yeah, this guy's proven it over what 10, 20 years, bro.
No, no,
This
no.
guy's
I'm not.
proven
I'm
time and
not
time
talking about
again.
him proving himself. He's a legend down here. Yeah, everyone knows this. But I'm just talking about the situational hypothetical down there. See, it is coming literally from our fiercest rivals in not London. Are you
So
willing
what?
to see him at Arsenal?
Yes,
Makes no
yes,
difference to me, bro. Look
yes.
at it this way, right? What happened
Yeah.
with Robin van Persie? Robin van Persie went to Man United and won them the league.
See,
Harry Kane could genuinely be that player that wins Arsenal the league. He's that good. He does everything that Jesus does. You see this guy drop deep as well.
Yeah.
He's like a playmaking striker. You know, some of the balls that he plays as well, like some of the long balls, his short passing, his long passing, is just ridiculous. This guy is levels, and I don't mind saying that, even though he is at Tottenham. And when he gets a chance in front of goal, he is clinical and he puts it
He's
away.
clinical. Yeah.
Look at Tottenham
you know
last season.
what?
Tottenham were awful last season. This guy
Yeah.
still scored 30 goals in the league last season. Still.
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Joshua, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I think we should risk it and bank. As I tell you, yo, Tottenham, listen, give us Kane. Seriously, like, I'm being dead serious. I think we should go and put in a bid for Harry Kane, and actually go and sign him.
Is Harry Kane going to come? See, it's one thing for Arsenal to desire Harry Kane. I see. I'm not into that. I take him as a fierce rival. I will not take Harry Kane. But that's just me. That's
Okay,
just my
You're
position.
mad.
I'll
You're
prefer to
mad.
go get another deadly
okay,
striker. There's Osimhen.
okay,
Why
okay,
go for Harry Kane
okay.
when I can
What
get
about Mbappe?
Osimhen right
What
now?
about Mbappe?
Why
Mbappe.
go for Harry Kane when I can go for a Vlahovic? For me, he's always an enemy. So,
What?
but that's my own. No, for me, that's my personal. Stuff. Yeah, that guy has cost me lots of heartbreaks. Yeah, but the penalties he scored against us. Yeah, see, I'm a true
Oh
Arsenal.
yeah.
So I won't take the enemy that I've maligned all these years. I won't pretend to like him all of a sudden because it's coming to Arsenal. But see, that's my own personal reasoning, and it might not be, ethical
Mm.
for Arsenal. If Arsenal needs to go and get Kane, good enough, no problem. But see, yeah, this is the
What
thing.
about Mbappe then?
If Arsenal
Mbappe from
goes up and
15.
put up that cash for Harry Kane, do you think he's going to come? Brandon, I'll start with you. Do you think he
What?
will come?
What to Arsenal?
Yeah. if Arsenal goes in and puts in a chicken bid for Harry Kane, do you think he would abandon ship? Do you think he would say, you know what, yeah, I think I'll go to Arsenal? Do you think so?
Do you know, it's interesting, right? Because if we could actually get that deal done, it would be interesting to see if he would.
Oh, mate.
It would be interesting to see if he would come on that on the player side. The only reason that I don't think we get this deal done is Daniel Levy. There's no way in hell Daniel. We could go and offer £200 million for Kane. Daniel Levy still wouldn't sell him to us
He
because
still wouldn't do that.
Daniel Levy knows that if he sells Harry Kane to Arsenal, he's done. That's it. He's done. But you got to think, right? The one thing, the only thing that people can say about Harry Kane and put against Harry Kane's name is he hasn't won any trophies. If
Come to
Arsenal, and Arsenal were almost guaranteed to be up there fighting for the Premier League title again next season, and you could be the difference maker between Arsenal winning the league and not winning the league, and winning some trophies at a club yourself as well. Bearing in mind this guy, you know, there's the rumours out there that when he was younger, he's an Arsenal fan. I mean, all them things kind of line up. Has Harry Kane got the minerals, though, to upset the Tottenham fans?
He got the minerals. He's a 30-goal striker in the season. Yeah, is that kind of striker you want leading your line? I do get that. But again, I do think that it's not as shameless as some of us might be. I still think he would not look at Arsenal as a viable place to just go and play football. I think it will kind of like ruin the whole thing he's built at Tottenham Hotspur. Even if he hasn't been at the back end of lots of trophies, I generally think he won't want to lose his legendary status at Tottenham Hotspurs. I don't think so. I think he would likely go to maybe a place like, I think he'll just go to Bayern or Chelsea Football Club rather than come to Arsenal. I don't really see it. He's not that kind of guy. He's not a Van Persie kind of guy, yeah, that can just, overlook everything and just go to the rivals. Kane is a thinking guy. I don't think he really needs money because he'll be looking at maybe going to Saudi Arabia right now or something like that. Of course, he can still win trophies in Europe, but he's thinking of going to Bayern Munich, so he's not really interested in money, or maybe PSG. So he just wants to go out there and win a couple of trophies. I don't see Arsenal as a viable place for him or as a viable option for him to get game time and score goals. So, but anyway, let's see. We've still not answered that important striker issue down here, man. Arsenal needs a striker. And
Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe, bro. Yeah. Go and put a ball in.
Joshua, you're on that pimp juice. No, you're on that pimp juice. No. We'll tolerate that one. Mbappe,
Why?
no, he's not going to come.
Why?
He's a Real Madrid kind of guy, kind of signing. But see,
why not?
I'll come to you. Our performance yesterday at the Emirates Cup. Joshua, please just tell us briefly, because Brandon also has to touch on that issue too, and we have a time limit here. Look into that game, yeah? Were you convinced that this Arsenal is the Arsenal that will go into that Community Shield, destroy Manchester City, and go into the new season and dominate these other teams for fun? Did Arsenal dominate Monaco, who didn't qualify for Europe, by the way, in the French League? Yeah. Were you convinced by that performance yesterday?
Hey, listen, this team will be the death of me, bro. Jesus Christ. Honestly, sometimes, this team, the stress, Brandon, bro, listen, the stress levels of this club, mate, it's but my heart, my heart can't take it, man. Why?
Welcome to the club.
But seriously, I feel like we need to improve, massively, especially on our defense, and also, Also, yeah, the slow build-up play. Oh my god, I hate it. Why do you always build up slow from the back? Just zip it, zip, 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 zip. Always just slow, boring play out from the back. Yeah, this it's just boring. It's
Mm.
literally and also yeah, regarding the Man City game,
No, we
realistically,
will talk about that Man City game separately. I'm just talking about that game against Monaco. You watched it yesterday because I knew you watched it
I
yesterday.
feel like we should have lost the game. I feel like we should have
Do
lost the
you
game.
think that's the performance of champions? That's
No,
what I want to know.
that's the performance of a team that doesn't want to win the league. That's the performance of a team that's not interested. That's a performance of a team that is scared, right? That is scared to go toe to toe with one of the best teams of all time. That is a
Mm,
team that doesn't want it, right? Arsenal
mm,
last season, yeah, for what? 95% of season, we were on it. But that game day, oh, Jesus Christ, listen, yeah, Monaco should have won the game. Monaco should have won the game, right? And the goal that they scored, what's it? The first goal, mate, that is just a typical stupid defensive lapse of concentration. And again, it's down our left hand side. All the goals that
everyone were
we
ball
conceded
watching.
every
We're
time,
ball watching.
always,
The
always,
defense were
always on
ball
left hand
watching.
side. Pardon?
The
Exactly.
defense were ball watching. Everyone ball watching like headless
Always
chickens. Shocking performance yesterday, man. Shocking
shocking.
performance. Yeah,
But
but
then the equalizer,
I'll come to you, Brandon. Yeah, I'll come to you. Brandon, look into that game. Yeah, and of course, on Bias TV, he brought out something. He said boring. Yeah, he said boring. See, I'm not saying that Arsenal doesn't play beautiful football, but that's a very big element he brought out. Yeah, Arsenal was known for our, our movement of the ball. Last season, there were some games where we had to dig in deep. Most games that we won last season wasn't pretty. We didn't win that in that sexy way. There were some games where we had to grind out some games. 3-2, 1-0, where we had to literally grab the game at the scruff of by the scruff of its neck and just just get that last dash leg in to score that goal. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Do you, Brandon, looking at that game against Monaco? I know this is a preseason game, yeah, but again, preseason games come at a basis or come with that structure that actually kind of like informs you the levels and the technical levels to which your team really is. Right now, that's how I feel preseason should be. It shows you at what level your team really is, and maybe you make one or two tweaks, rest a few players, but it shows you the level to which your team, can be held responsible this season. But see, Brandon, what do you think about that game yesterday? Is that stuff of champion? Do you think it's just okay, one of those preseason games that we just have to take as a preseason game? But if not, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been convinced by Arsenal all pre-season, to be fair. Even the Barcelona game, we conceded 3 goals. And Barcelona, don't get it twisted, they're a good side, but shouldn't be conceding 3 goals in the manner that we was conceding the 3 goals either. Man
Hmm.
United game was, atrocious. We wasn't at the races. And then yesterday, it was very, like my man was saying, slow, lethargic, a bit boring, and not not really the level that we demonstrated last season. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't mind Arsenal getting all this out of the way now because it is only pre-season. As long as we are ready to hit the ground running game week 1, I really don't care too much for pre-season games, to be honest with you. But you're right, it does tell you a few things. It does give you an element of a look at, kind of where the team's at, where the
Yeah.
players are at. What kind of new things is the manager trying to implement? Does it work? Does it not? And for me, I mean, I look at our midfield. Our midfield's going to be very, very important to us this season. And, we brought in Kai Havertz, we brought in Declan Rice. Kai Havertz, I'm not convinced by. Declan
Yeah.
Rice, I just think he's lacking a little bit of fitness at the moment, and maybe the know-how in how to play Arteta's system.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very important that he settles in really quickly. And it's going to be very important that Mikel Arteta bites the bullet and says, look, Kai Havertz isn't ready to start. I'm going to go with Thomas Partey and Declan Rice because, in all honesty, that is the best partnership out of the three. It is. And
It
if he
is.
decides, this is where the manager is going to come in this season, right? Because if he decides to play Kai Havertz when he's not ready, that'll have a detrimental effect on Arsenal's season. If he decides to play Declan Rice and Declan Rice isn't ready, that'll have a detrimental effect on Arsenal's season.
True.
So he's got to prove to us this season that he is the manager that most of the Arsenal fan base think he is, which I'm not 100% convinced by, but
Yeah.
I'm here to be proven wrong. And I look at this and I look at all these things and I say, cool, get your poor performances out of the way during pre-season. But game
Yeah.
week 1, we hit the ground running. Even the Community Shield, right? I couldn't give a
Yeah.
nuts about the Community Shield, right? And I couldn't even sit here and lie and say I do care about the Community Shield because at the end of the day, there were a lot of Arsenal fans who like to say that Arteta has won 2 trophies at Arsenal. They put the Community Shield in that as well. I don't care about the Community Shield at all. It is a glorified charity match. That's all it is. It means absolutely nothing. And in fact, right, believe it or not, the team that has lost the Community Shield in the past 5 seasons has been the team that goes on to win the league. So if we lose the Community Shield, maybe we might go on to win the league.
Maybe we might go on to, but see, I have a different idea when it comes to this community shield. Guys, we have Latimer's Prime in the chat. Guys, you have to remember Latimer's was always part of the start of this channel. Yeah, great guy. He helped grow this channel too. So shout out to Latimer's. Big ups to you, mate. How you doing? It's been a long time. Brandon T. I have a different idea. Yeah, I want a winning mentality. See, it's good. We didn't really play quite well yesterday. Yeah, we still won that cup, that Emirates Cup. It's nothing to me, but I want that winning mentality to be there this season. I want that feeling like you've won something. You can win something. Let's go ahead. We've tasted this. Let's go on and win something. That's the attitude I getting into the season with. Yeah. And I'm not even talking of the Emirates Cup. I'm talking of this Charity Shield. It is a big stage at the start of the season. Yeah. To get one in there, yeah, mentality wise, not about whatever the Charity Shield is all about. Whether it's a community shield, no problem. I don't care about the shield. I care about that mental gain, that mental advantage over Manchester City. I want to see that a new Arsenal challenge these guys. Tell these guys that, you know what, yeah, uh, we know that you guys got one ahead of us last season, but now we want to retaliate as wounded dogs. I want to see that ability, that mentality, yeah, not just a team that's ready to be beaten black and blue by Manchester City any way they choose, any way they like. That's the problem I have with this team. I'm not so confident about this team whenever we play Man City. If it's a friendly, if it's a cup game, if it's in the Premiership, we always seem to stumble against these guys. We genuinely are really afraid of this guy. So I want Arsenal to kind of like take that fear factor away whenever they're playing Man City. This Charity Shield game, my brother Brandon, it presents us with an ample opportunity to be able to rewrite some setting wrongs. Go into that matchup with with that mentality that, you know what, Man City, I'm coming for the title this season. Brandon, do you want to tell me if Arsenal beats up Manchester City 4 goals to nil? Hypothetically, I'm not saying this will happen. 4-0, yeah, in that preseason game, in the Community Shield or whatever it's called these days, yeah. Don't you think it will be like that mental reawakening for Manchester City? they would look at it like, okay. And if Arsenal goes ahead to do it with our new expensive toys, I'm sorry, I call our new signings expensive toys, yeah? Julian Timber, when you're bringing in Chelsea's Champions League winner, Kai Havertz, into the fray, who, to be fair, has scored 2 goals in 3 preseason games, yeah? And of course, you're bringing in Declan Rice, and these guys have a big performance on Sunday and win that matchup against City, let's say maybe 3-0, 4-0, does this send any message to you, Brandon? Does this send any message to Manchester City mentally that Arsenal is ready, that Arsenal has brought in new players to galvanize that team and it's a different team? What do you think? If we do, if.
It does, no doubt.
Mm,
I agree with every single point that you made there. You're right.
mm,
Obviously the Community Shield doesn't matter so much, but because we're going up against Manchester City,
yeah.
and we're going to be vying for the league title with them this season again, hopefully. It's good to get a mental edge over them and just say, look, we're ready. We're ready to, go the distance this time. You're going to have to be on your game.
Mm,
Now, that would do us some good because then it would give us the whole mental edge of we can beat Manchester City. But then at the same time, it could have the reverse effect as well, where Man City go, oh, hang about here. Arsenal are serious. We need to start being serious again. Because for the first half of that season, last season, right, Man City weren't really that serious about winning anything. I don't think.
mm,
It was only when Pep Guardiola called them out in his press conference and said, look, if you lot don't improve, we ain't winning no league this season. Arsenal will destroy us when we play them.
yeah.
You guys need to improve. And he wasn't happy. And then look at what Man City went on to do. They won the treble. Could it have a detrimental effect on us as well? Do you know what I mean? Like, could it
Mm,
be, okay, we've got the mental edge here because we won 4-0 in the Charity Shield, but will it then, galvanise Manchester City to be even better and say, look, you could have your Community Shield. It means nothing. You are not having that Premier League. It's as
You're not
simple as
having
that.
that Premier League title. Fair point. I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. Because I'll prefer Arsenal to win the league than to win the Community Shield. Definitely, that's what I want. But see, let's get into this. Let's get into this talk right now. We all knew that last season. Yeah, I like saying that Man City had a big squad last season. Yeah. But now it has only taken two of the very influential players. I'm not talking of influential in terms of how many games they played last season. I'm talking of in a continuum over years, how they've contributed into that team. I'm talking of the demise of Mahrez to Saudi Arabian money. I'm talking of the Usta of Gondo to Barcelona. These are two henchmen in that team. They've actually just left that team. Personally, I see them as a team that is weaker rather than stronger. And mind you, this also shows, yeah, in their preseason game. Manchester City have lost, I think, two of their preseason games this season, either 2 or 1. And that one also included one against the Atletico Madrid. I'm taking this preseason game with a pinch of salt. But come on, man. Sometimes you just have to say, after winning a 3P, there's a room. There's a room for a gaff. There's a room for a mistake. There's a room for a kind of like a retreat. Yeah, kind of like, okay, we've tasted it. Let's rest on our laurels. In as much as you have that option of dismissing that particular option, yeah, there's also that thing that's there that says we've won it all. Uh, let's relax a bit. We've won it all. We've done the 3P. We've just won the Champions League. We've done the treble. We've undone what Alex Ferguson did in this league. And we're young legends. But we've lost a couple of guys along the way. We've brought in Kovacic, for me, who's not a like for like replacement for a player or he's not in that ilk, yeah, of a player like Gondo or Maris to me. Do you see Arsenal getting into this season looking at Manchester City as a weakened team?
I hope not, because the moment you start looking and thinking they're weaker, then you ultimately yourself start, relaxing a little bit more, thinking, okay, they're weaker. That's all right. We don't have to be as good this season. No, 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 no. I
Mm,
agree. By the way, they've lost Mahrez, who's a very, very good option off the bench. He still came up with 15 goals in all competitions last season.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it just goes to show that he's not a bad player at all, and he spent
at
most of the
all.
time on the bench. Then Gundogan's absolutely clutch for him at the end of the season. It wasn't Haaland scoring the goals that at the important stages last season. It was Gundogan. Gundogan won them the FA Cup. Gundogan, he scored these goals. He came up with big goals for Manchester City, and
Mm,
he was their captain as well. So they kind of
true.
lost that leadership element from him. I still think Man City have plenty of leaders in their squad anyway. So, the captaincy element, I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. But as a player who comes up with big goals in big moments, they're going to miss Gundogan big time. And they will, of course, miss Mahrez as well. But having said that, sometimes less is more. And what I mean by
Hmm.
that is they've got a
Guys,
young.
Brandon is cooking, guys. It's cooking. Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm
it's
sorry,
true.
man.
It's true.
I had to give it a cooking jar, man.
But sometimes less is more. Like, look at, for example, they got Phil Foden, right?
Mm, mm,
Again, last season struggled to kind of get into the City team, right? So they got Phil Foden there. Phil Foden will obviously get more
yeah.
minutes now that Mahrez has left. So they've got his replacement already in house. Then they've got players like uh, Cal Palmer, right? Young, up and coming, very talented guy. I'm not saying he can come and break into this Man City team straight away, but he doesn't need to because they've now got Kovacic. Kovacic isn't nowhere near, in my opinion, as good as what Gundogan is, but he's a good enough replacement with Kyle Palmer behind him as well for Manchester City to still be
Okay.
strong enough to win this league. Do you know what I mean? So yes, they've lost two big players, and they might even lose more yet. But they've just signed Guardiol.
Vardio. Yeah,
Yeah,
Vardio. Yeah.
centre back, one of the best in world football right now.
One
Right?
of the but mind you, but mind you, Brandon, man, this guy has to prove himself. See,
Oh
we
yeah.
seem to forget that this is the Premiership. Yeah, this is a humbler. This is a humbler. This whole English league. Yeah, it's a humbler. We saw what happened to Martinez of Manchester United. Yeah, he was introduced into the horrors of this league. That's what this league does to you. Personally, I think Vadio is a great guy, but I'm sorry, he has to prove himself. He just got to improve himself in this league. Look at Koulibaly. Kicking it for Napoli was still a decent centre back you could eye for like
Mm.
50 million pounds, 60 million pounds when it was a Napoli. Some even rated him at 100 million. I forgot how much Chelsea brought him to the league for. But you saw it when he came to Chelsea. A
Yeah.
legend like Koulibaly turned into dust by this league. That's what this league does to you. So, in as
Mm.
much as I would say Vadio is a good player, I'm sorry, he still has to prove himself in a Manchester City
But we're
shirt.
also forgetting there's one other element to this.
Mm.
Pep Guardiola. Now,
Ah, yeah, you just smashed that point
I
anyway.
don't see, I don't see any, I don't see any scenario in which Pep Guardiola is not drilling them players right now and
Hmm.
saying, "Look, we have an opportunity here to do something that nobody has ever done. Nobody, and that's get the 4P. Yeah, nobody's ever done a 4P.
No one has ever done it, man.
So ultimate, and what would that do to Man United fans as well? Do you know what I mean? Like Man
Yeah.
City have just equaled your 3P and your treble, and now they have the opportunity to go out there and better that and do a 4P and possibly even another treble next season. Who knows? But the
Who
point
knows?
is if they do a 4P straight away, yeah, Pep Guardiola, even though he is a legendary manager of football and he will be, and he'll be a legendary Premier League manager, this writes him in the history books full stop. And he will be known as the better manager ahead of Sir Alex Ferguson,
Imagine
ahead
that. Just imagine that.
of all these
Imagine.
managers, right? So there's no way that Pep Guardiola is resting on his laurels, and there's no way that these players are going to get a respite this season. They might go into the season thinking, "Oh well, we've won it all," and that. But there's no. This guy will absolutely tear him a new one. If we think
Hmm.
Arteta's ruthless at Arsenal, Pep Guardiola's
He
worse
learned
than him.
from the best, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, Man City, even if they lose some more players, they will still be strong this season. And I don't think any Arsenal fan should be looking at Man City and thinking, well, actually, we got a better chance because they're weaker. They're not.
Hmm.
They're not. It's
No.
as simple as that. They're really not.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, guys, yeah, we've come to the end of this show. But see, before Brandon will, give us that the ending ritual. See, yeah, Brandon, prediction time. Yeah. We're going to that crunch match against Manchester City, yeah. Why I call it a crunch match, it's a crunch match for the mentality, because I'm all about the mentality of this team, because I really do feel that Arsenal's mentality, it's a bit shaky. I'm sorry, when mentally we're not up there yet. I need these guys to be up there yet. I need them to be mentally ready for what's going to happen, because Manchester City, as it is already, mentally they're far, 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 ahead of Arsenal right now. When you're talking about the players that are there, Arsenal have made lots of improvement in bringing in lots of players that I think will be at the end of games, yeah, when these guys get into the groove and start, showing their individual highlights and individual skill sets. But the thing there is that mentally we're nowhere near Manchester City, and in order to win the title, you have to be up there, either at par with Manchester City or at least trying to surpass where they are mentally. For mentality's sake and not for the community shield in itself, what would be your prediction for that game on Sunday?
I would like to say that we would win it. I'm going to say 2-1.
Hmm.
But I think there's also an element there that I'm a bit scared of what Manchester City could do to us. Man City could turn up in this Community Shield game and slap us about 3 or 4-0. And
Oh,
all of a sudden, we're talking about the mentality. The mentality dips big time.
no.
But also,
That's
right?
what I'm talking about. The mentality to just deep, and you're going
Yeah,
into the season. But
yeah,
that's the
exactly.
problem.
But I also want to make this clear as well, right? Because a lot of people are only really putting Arsenal and Man City in the conversation for the title. I'm telling people this season, don't sleep on Manchester United. Whatever you
Mm.
do, don't sleep on Manchester United. Okay? Because they're better. The signings that they've brought in have made them better than what they were last season.
So sorry, how are they better? They won a game in preseason against us, and then in all other games lost everything. They brought in a striker, a 20-year-old striker, Hoyland,
Mhm.
who has scored 9 goals. See, let me say that again. Maybe no one is understanding. 9 goals in 32 matches. I'm sorry, that doesn't inspire me, and I don't think I have to be scared about that attack for next season. I'm sorry, I'm not scared about that. I'm not scared about Manchester United. They were not a threat last season. I don't think they'll be a threat this season with the main man handling and spearheading their attack, a 20-year-old new to this league. And last year, he didn't tear shit up. The only bigger experience, apart from Atalanta and the Serie A, this guy has is from Strom Grass. That's how that's how low the standard is for Manchester United. They just spent 70 million pounds on this guy, whom I think that Balogo trumps this guy. Skill set, goal scored, everything. Balogo trumps this guy. So let's don't paint this guy as something or as someone who is a Viking legend who will come down here to the Premiership and tear things up. I've heard lots of Manchester United fans say this thing, and I'm tired. I'm literally tired. This guy has to come here and prove himself. Brandon, I'm sorry for cutting you down there because you just said something that triggered me. I'm sorry. So I was triggered. So I just had to let that out. But
Look,
I'll allow you to continue.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree that Højlund has to come in and prove himself. But what I would say is the 3 signings, which is potentially going to turn into 4 by the end of the window, that Manchester United have made their team better. Onana is better than David De Gea. Yeah, having Onana between the sticks is better than having David De Gea, who was conceding like stupid shots.
Fair
Mason
enough.
Mount, yeah, this one's a little bit of a is he, isn't he kind of, you know, bit with like what we've got with Kai Havertz, right? But what I would say is Mason Mount better than an aging Eriksen? I mean, you know, Eriksen, I think, you know, since he's been at Man United, he hasn't really shown the levels that we see at Tottenham and even at Inter Milan. So Mason Mount will bring that energy to their midfield as well. If they get Amrabat, that also means they've got big options in the midfield because this guy will sit deep. He will cover and do that 6 role that Partey does for us, which allows Casemiro to go forward. And the one thing that people didn't expect from Casemiro last season when he signed for Man United is for him to come up with goals. And he scored a fair few goals for Man United.
Yeah,
so there's that option there as well. And then also, you've got to look at this Højlund kid. And yes, he's not proven. He scored 9 goals in Italy. But at the same time, he's 20 years old. Is he better than Weghorst? Without a doubt, in my mind. You know, he's no doubt better than Weghorst. And if they can use him in the right way, with his like hold up and link up play, similar to what we do with Jesus, Rashford will be dangerous next season. Anthony will probably be quite dangerous next season as well because he's got blistering pace. Then you've got the other options of Sancho as well and stuff. I wouldn't sleep on Man United. I really, really wouldn't.
Yeah, but defensively, man, they've been shocking, man. Just look at their preseason games. These guys have been at the back end of lots of horrible goals. And see, Onana, who just came in, have already shipped in like 5 goals already. He just came in and shipped in like about 5 goals. So why would you disrespect your legend who's been in your football club, won you titles, won European glory, and then you dismiss him for Onana, who I think is a good, decent player, but let's don't overblow everything. Even Onana, you know, is still susceptible to lots of gaffes. Also, he likes to play around with his ball distribution. Mind you, guys, he distributes the ball okay. It's a ball playing goalkeeper. But mind you, he allows that get into his head at times. He overdoes things at times. He overthrows some certain kind of passes. He overthinks things. Is that kind of goalkeeper who would want to be a dribbler, you know, in this Premiership. And like I've said, man, the Premiership is a humbler. You just have to come and have a taste of it. Martinez, who has actually turned out to be a good defender for Manchester United, he tested himself and he saw that this Premiership is a humbler in the first 3-4 games. He saw what it means to actually be baptized in this league. And unfortunately for him, his first 3-4 games for Manchester United was a baptism of fire. These teams here that have just brought in new players will, you know, a lot will be seen. And that's why I'm always banking on Premiership proven players. Premiership, Premier League proven players. Rice is a Premier League proven player. Bad as it gets, he will get to the levels of West Ham. Yeah, bad as it gets. He's never gonna be total dog shit. He's gonna put up those performances, whether we like it or not. Yeah, he could have a bad season, a less desirable one, but he already has that Premiership experience in the bag. So I think he'll you know, it will show. It might take a few games to get him up to speed to understand how Mikel Arteta will want to use him, if he wants to use him in a box to box kind of midfielder. It's also in his wheelhouse to be able to move box to box, move a little bit ahead of that CDM role, try to spray passes here and there our wingers try to help out, driving the ball forward. Could also get you some goals, take set pieces sometimes, even penalties. It could even get you literally get you good goals. It depends on how Mikel Arteta sees the dynamics, the changing dynamics of Thomas Partey. If he wants Thomas Partey to just patrol in that CDM area, and mind you, Jurriën Timber is also a natural CDM player. Whenever we're playing with a back four that consists of Jurriën Timber, he could actually just push in when the team is going forward. He could just literally just slip into that CDM area, leave it with a back four of our defensive back three. When he cuts in invertedly into that midfield, so he can change. He can play left back, can play centre back, can play left back. And when you have versatile players that can be able to play multiple positions, it's just Mikel Arteta. Do what you have to do. You have the players, you have the squad depth, in quote, to achieve what you want to achieve. I don't know if you agree with that, Brandon, but I
Yeah,
know
no,
it's a little bit
definitely.
all over the place, but you just have to agree, man. But I'll allow you to talk, man.
No. You're right. You're right. Arteta's got the squad now. There are more excuses. He's got the squad now. We're going to see how good he is as a manager, and it's as simple as that. It is all going to come down to Mikel Arteta and how he uses the squad. And there's going to be certain times we're going to get found out. He's going to have to do something different. There's going to be certain times where he's going to have to do different tactics to win us games. And this is the thing, right? People don't understand. The manager isn't just there to pick the team. The manager is also there to win you points as well. And he can
True.
do that in various different ways.
Mm.
Substitutions, tactics, whatever it may be. And a lot of the time, Arteta's lack of experience in the managerial
Experience.
department lets us down. And I also think he was a fairly big part of the reason why we didn't win the league last season.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a big
yeah,
chunk of it. A big chunk of it.
yeah.
See, Brandon, man, but you've not given us your prediction for the Nottingham Forest game, because I don't think I might see you before then on the show. So, please, what do you think? Do you think Nottingham Forest will be deforested? Uh, there will be. Do you think there will be extreme deforestation when it comes to Nottingham Forest, our first game, season opener? What's your prediction?
I think Forest will get baptised.
Ooh.
It's at the
Get
Emirates.
in there.
I think we're going to be vying for a little bit of a revenge for the defeat that we had
Mm,
last season, towards the
yeah.
back end of last season. I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal. Oh
3-0.
my God. Guys, you've heard it from the horse's mouth. Yeah, this legend here, I've just told us that Nottingham Forest might get deforested. There might be deforestation down there in that team on the day and the opening day of the Premiership. Brandon, man, as you can see, we've just created 1 hour 20 minutes of a quality show. We can do this, my brother. We can do this. And again, it's nice to have you here. Like I told you, I've always wanted to have you on my show, because I like the way, even if I've seen you in the midst of a very heavy fire, yeah, you've been that guy that always stick to what you believe. Trust me, it's not easy being. I've been on a stage with Not Side, my brother, my Angolan brother. Of course, I see you do shows with him. I've done shows with Not Side. Trust me, it's not easy to be in the firing line when you're with Not Side. Mostly when you oppose him in any way. Yeah, he is usually that one that will bite back at you. So, and I see how composed you are most of the time. You believe what you believe in, and you say what you want to say. And that what makes you very unique, sir, in my eyes. And it's nice to have you on this show. And please, it would be nice for you to take this channel as your extension station, somewhere you could build partnership with us down here and talk to us. As you can see, no one is biting. I accept every kind of idea. I respect people's opinions. Yeah, provided you respect other people's opinions too. Yeah, and big ups to you, man. Please shout out your channel. Tell these people what you do and where they can find you, because I have other fans from my back home Nigeria, and other places from the United States who watch the show later. So just talk to them and let them know where you
Yeah,
are and
I
what you do.
mean, firstly, I appreciate the invite, Tony. I really do. So thanks for getting us on. And yeah, listen, guys, you can find me over on True Gunners TV on YouTube. Also on Twitter as well. It's the same thing, True Gunners TV. So come and follow us on that if you like. And big up everybody in the chat as well. Make sure you're showing some love to Tony, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and hitting up them like buttons, because that is what we need. Algorithm pushes the
Yeah,
videos if you guys help
exactly.
us out. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like button.
See, Brandon, thank you very much, man. I know how hard it was to actually come around to the show, because I knew you had to do daddy duties at the time. But thanks, man. Thanks for showing up. And hopefully, I would like to make my debut on your show, man, and come and test myself in your, on that hot seat you have down there, man.
The hot seat, yeah.
Legendary channel, man. I've seen you do big shows there, man. I want to be. I want to be at the back end of the heat that comes from there, man. See, guys, yeah, Deji Sports is coming to town, guys. Deji Sports might be here on Saturday, yeah, guys. See, you have to prepare for this guy, the Minority Report.
Make sure you're cooking him in the comment section as well, guys, because I like to give Deji a little cooking session. I like to
A
tell
little
him
cooking
all about
session, right?
himself.
Yeah.
So
Exactly,
make sure
man.
you guys do it.
Me and Deji have built a very big show. We have, and it's very unique because we don't just delve into just football. We make it a little bit, kind of like, outside the box of football sometimes. Just make it fun and something that people could actually vibe with. So, so it comes with lots of, lots of laughs. Lots of wild talk and wild statements. So, because Deji is the kind of guy that will make wild statements. Yeah, he could say Arsenal could come 10th in the league or come 15th in the league or could get relegated. So, a bit of a wild kind of guy, and that's why he's a very unique person to work with. So, Deji Sports might be here on Saturday, guys, but let's see what's going to happen. From me here and from Brandon also, guys, smash up the likes on his own channel, smash up the subscription button on his own channel when you do get down there to check him out. And from us, me and Brandon, peace out.